All right, let's dig deeper on this with Victor Avila. He is a retired ICE special agent with Homeland Security Investigations. Let me just read again from the New York Post what these guys are accused of doing. They wrote, quote, 3 Venezuelan migrants, including a baby-faced Tren de Aragua leader, brazenly peddled illegal pistols, shotguns, rifles, and ghost guns across New York City, prosecutors alleged. The defendant has access to a seemingly endless supply of loaded guns, said Assistant District Attorney Yuval Simchi-Levy. The defendant sold the guns while out on a bench warrant. These folks come into the country illegally, and then they proceed to engage in illegal operations, seemingly with almost impunity.
That's right, John. And this is the different category of illegal aliens that we've been dealing with in the last several years. They're not economic migrants coming to the United States to seek a better life. They're actually coming in for the sole purpose of endangering U.S. citizens and, in fact, even members of their own community around the country. And so this is the next level of preoccupation that the Trump administration has to focus, because these individuals are armed and dangerous, and it's not like when you go and pick them up, they're going to, I think, go easily into the custody of ICE officials or other immigration officials. They're going to put up a fight because they're here for a very different agenda, and that's the caution that ICE officials and others will have to take on when they do approach them come here next week very soon.
Yeah, well, we expected a lot is going to change. We've been talking to Tom Homan about all of this, but still in places like New York City, ICE detainers do not get honored. Another big cross-border problem is sex trafficking. And a group of senators, Blackburn, Ernst, Hoeven, and Cassidy, introduced legislation in the Senate to combat child trafficking. A couple of the provisions require DNA testing to determine the relationship between adults and children, also fingerprint them. Here's what Senators Blackburn and Ernst said about that. Senator Blackburn, as many as 30% of children DNA tested were found not to be related to the illegal immigrants posing as family members. Meanwhile, drug cartels and gangs use minors to falsely present themselves as family units and seek asylum at our southern border. And here's what Senator Ernst said. By fingerprinting every child at the border, we not only protect our nation by learning who is attempting to enter, but we also protect the kids by ensuring that they are not being trafficked. Cartels cannot be allowed to profit off the exploitation, abuse, and forced labor of minors. I mean, when you consider that this administration doesn't know where some 320,000 minors who came across the border illegally currently are, measures like this would seem to be common sense.
Absolutely. And this is very near and dear to my heart, John. I'm a subject matter expert in human trafficking investigations and victim identification. And I rescued a lot of these children that were brought from outside of the United States into our country for the sole purpose of being sexually exploited and also being forced in the forced labor trade. And these laws, I welcome them, because anything that will strengthen the ability to identify these children, the ability to identify the traffickers, and anyone trying to exploit these children, it's going to be a better outcome. Now, when I saw the DNA testing being conducted under the Trump administration at the border, it dramatically, immediately, the cartels and the traffickers stopped bringing the children as family units because of that testing. So DNA testing will immediately, I think, will be implemented, and you're going to see the dramatic numbers of unaccompanied minors at the actual border drop dramatically.
I want to ask you about one other issue. This is related to the cartels, but in a totally different way. The Biden FDA, on the way out the door, has proposed a rule limiting the amount of nicotine in cigarettes to 0.7 milligrams of nicotine. A lot of people might say that's great because people might not get as hooked on cigarettes as they are, but others fear that it could open the door to illegal trafficking in cigarettes that have a higher nicotine content. Rich Marianos is the former assistant director of the ATF. He said this: Biden's ban is a gift with a bow and balloons to organized crime cartels with it, whether it's cartels, Chinese organized crime, or Russian mafia. It's going to keep America smoking, and it's going to make the streets more violent. I remember some years ago, there was a problem along the St. Lawrence River near Cornwall, Ontario, where Canada had jacked up the price of cigarettes so much that it ignited a robust trade in illegal American cigarettes coming across the border. And the St. Lawrence River, to a large degree, became a shooting gallery as these folks were smuggling cigarettes across the border. Could something similar happen across our southern border as a result of this proposed rule?
Absolutely. It would spark that black market of cigarette smuggling through the roof if this would be in effect. As a matter of fact, Homeland Security investigations under the U.S. Customs Service before the merger conducted many smuggling investigations of cigarette smuggling into the United States. This would only exacerbate that. A lot of people don't associate that. When I lived in Colorado, when Colorado first legalized recreational marijuana, and what it did there is it increased the trafficking of marijuana from Mexico. Not all of it was being homegrown in the state of Colorado. And so that's exactly what the cartels are looking for, these opportunities to take advantage to increase their product illegally, just like they do with all the other illicit drugs like fentanyl, meth, and the such that you and I have been talking about for a long time.
Any opportunity to make a buck. Victor Avila, good to catch up with you again. Thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.